MCSN pays out everything to the members. Only 18% is retained for legal maintenance and salaries. Only 18%, not like COSON, where one chairman was eating all the money. And by the way, I have to inform now the public that COSON has been proscribed. The name COSON was cancelled by the copyright, by CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission. The name was cancelled because it was fraudulently registered. The government has proscribed Muson. So anybody dealing with Muson deals with an illegal company which has no bank accounts. COSON, yes. I am not vindictive. Okoroji is my friend, but I must state, if you want to get your money as a musician, go to the legally registered company.
All right, we'll begin today's conversation taking our quote from Michael Collins Ajere, known professionally as Don Jazzy, a Nigerian record producer, audio engineer, record executive, singer, entrepreneur, influencer, and comedian. He is the founder and CEO of Maven Records. He once said, "Advice to musicians, you have to have passion. If your initial plan was to come into music production because of money, you won't go far." Absolutely spot on. Now quickly, let's take our second quote, and this one is from Peter Okoye, popularly known as Mr. P, a Nigerian musician, songwriter, and recording artist, and a member of the defunct P Square group. He once said, "You can work for the boss or work to be the boss. Choose one. But as for me, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to be, the boss." That's some boss talk. All right, warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We are reaching you from Captain's Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Now, the music industry today, locally and globally, is a major contributor to youth employment and empowerment. Its current value doesn't represent food for the soul alone, but also as well food for the pocket. There have been several studies that have substantiated this claim. One is a study conducted by Statista in Nigeria revealed that the music sector's revenue grew from $26 million in 2014 to $34 million in 2018. This figure, according to the research and projections by Statista, is expected to grow to $44 million by 2023. Just a few months ahead. That's what you say, right? Now, the statistics from these studies reveal that the music industry possesses both the capital to support millions of teeming youths and generate considerable revenue for the economy. No wonder they say the music industry is capable of taking huge Nigerian youth off the streets with the right investment. But on the second thought, how well has the industry lived up to this? Is it a statement of truth or is just a myth? Well, I am as curious as you are, but we are just about to find out from our guest. He is Dr. Tee Mac Omatshola Iseli, MFR, also known as Tee Mac. He is Nigeria's multi-talented maestro flutist with cross-cultural Isekiri and Swiss roots, who had a rich career spanning over 40 years in the music industry. In 2007, Dr. Tee Mac was elected president of the Musician Union of Nigeria, that's PMAN. Now, in 2009, he was appointed the Nigerian director of the Motherland Group, initiated by Michael Jackson's brother, Marlon Jackson, of the world-famous Jackson 5, with support from the Lagos state government to build a historical slave museum in Badagry. Tee Mac was awarded the Member of the Federal Republic of Nigeria MFR National Honor by Nigeria's former president Musa Shehu Yar'Adua in 2009 for his vital role in brokering peace with the Niger Delta militants and fighting for their rehabilitation. And you'll get to meet him after this quick break as he joins us virtually from Lagos. I will see you shortly. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from Captain's Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now we have our guest. He is Dr. Tee Mac Omatshola Iseli, MFR. He is the former PMAN president. Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
Great to have you.
Thank you for featuring me on your program.
Great to have you, sir. All right.
Thank you.
All right, now, so let's get started. In 2007, you were elected president of the Musician Union of Nigeria, that's PMAN, investing time and energy into helping develop the Nigerian entertainment industry. And at the time, PMAN was described as the largest black musician union in the world. Many years after your presidency at PMAN, briefly walk us through your experience then.
I would like to speak very little about my most challenging and most frustrating time of my life.
Okay.
I regret ever having stood for election, and I regret having taken up the mantle as PMAN president. I'm a founder of PMAN. I supported PMAN my whole life, but I never knew it's going to be such a frustrating affair dealing with so much frustration, ignorance, bad mouth. It is very unfortunate that the majority of musicians are not educated. They don't understand the power of a union. I came into the mantle of the leadership having a fraction of one Dele Abiodun, disturbing everything constantly. I had to go to about 6 or 7 court cases. So I tried my best. I got PMAN a member of FIM, Fédération Internationale, the world body. I was able to do a deal with the tax people that any foreign artist performing pays tax at source. 30% goes to the tax people and 5% goes to the union, as it's done everywhere in the world. I was able to get the PMAN land back, which was lost for many years. I was able to sign with all the embassies to facilitate visas for musicians who want to travel abroad. So we achieved quite something. But when Dele Abiodun stormed one day the office and illegally tried to take it over, I just said, let's form a peace committee. I had enough, and I went back to my normal life. So that's about what I want to say about PMAN.
Okay, so what exactly were the challenges that you faced at the time?
Please, I don't want to go into it. Let's discuss something more progressive, more positive than a union which is disorganized.
All right then. So you became one of the pioneers of the Classical Music Society of Nigeria, which eventually founded the Muson Center, Nigeria's leading music school. How would you rate the activities of the school or applaud the school with regards to the expectations and reasons for its establishment?
Well, now we are talking positively. In 1977, I had a 2,000 seat to the Soulera nightclub. One gentleman, one white guy came to the stage and said, if you could join me on the piano. I said, yeah, please come. And he played beautifully an improvisation. So I said to him, wonderful. I thought he worked for Julius Berger. So he invited me, that was Saturday night, on Sunday to his house to bring my flute along. And then I realized that that gentleman was Sir Melvin Brown, the British High Commissioner. So with him and Akintola Williams, we registered the Classical Music Society of Nigeria. We did we did concerts to raise money. And when Babangida gave the land where Muson is out, plus 10 million, and he gave 10 million to PMAN under Okoroji plus the PMAN land, we started.
Okay.
We then registered Muson, and as you can see, Muson is the most successful non-profit making organization. Muson has income from the Egypt Hall, the Shell Hall, a French restaurant, and the bank. Muson has now the London School of Music curriculum and is bringing out every year a couple of dozens of professionals. So I'm pleased and I'm happy with Muson and the Classical Music Society of Nigeria, because it looks like musicians who are going into classical music are more educated than musicians who are going into Fuji, Juju, and God knows whatever. Because they're educated, they know how to read and write, they understand that a professional musician has to study and learn his profession like any other profession. You cannot claim to be a musician when you just pick up the guitar one day, or you don't even know what key you're singing in, and you think you are a superstar. Under the upcoming and new artists, we have too many music illiterates, and that's why the bar in Nigeria is very low. They don't believe that you need to play an instrument. They don't believe that you need to study, basically. So when you write music, it's not just beats and some senseless lyrics. A song has melody, harmony, and rhythm. That's the basic of a composition. And the majority of the trash you hear on the radio has no melody, no rhythm behind, just beats.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll actually come back to that. Now, in 2009, you were appointed the Nigerian director of the Motherland Group, initiated by Michael Jackson's brother, Marlon Jackson, of the world-famous Jackson 5, with support from the Lagos state government to build a historical slave museum in Badagry. Now, were you able to achieve the purpose of building a tourist center?
Well, we had an agreement with Lagos state government that we must have a road going to Badagry. Because if there's no access, tourists cannot get there. And Alhaji Fashola assured us within 2, maximum 3 years, the road to Badagry will be in place.
Okay.
So we had the funds available. I proven to the Lagos state government with a certified bank check for $1.2 billion that the capital was available, but nothing happened. Till today, there's no road going to Badagry. So the investors said, well, we wait. We cannot build a 5-star hotel, all the facilities, and people will struggle 3-4 hours to get to Badagry. So everything is on standstill until the Lagos government finally builds the road to Badagry.
Oh, wow. All right, so now you were also awarded the Member of the Federal Republic, that's MFR, National Honor by Nigeria's former President Shehu Musa Yar'Adua in 2009 for your vital role in brokering peace with the Niger Delta militants and fighting for their rehabilitation. How far will you say that that course, that's brokering peace and rehabilitation, has actually gone even presently?
It was a very challenging time and situation. It was Ateke Tom who called me and said, we don't trust the police, we don't trust the army, we don't trust the royal fathers. You are the PMAM president, I trust you. So I risked my life. I went out to the camp on a speedboat, picked up by the militants. The Navy shot at my boat. And I sat together and said, but Ateke Tom, you alone cannot be peace. So he took his satellite phone out and he called up Boylov, Iberi Papa, Peter Black, Ayuri, all the other militants, and said, Tee Mac will be coming with a proposal. In the proposal, we suggested amnesty, development of the Niger Delta, and education of the militants.
Okay.
When it was signed, and the last one was flown to the villa to sign the peace treaty, Yar'Adua gave me the MFR, which it's an honor, but he didn't pay me my millions of expenses. I spent hiring speedboats, staying in hotels. Even at one time, Marlon Jackson was in Port Harcourt in a hotel. But then I said, for security reason, you wait, let me go and sort out the situation. But again, my advice was not listened to. I said to the government, pay the militant the enumeration of 75,000 naira directly. Don't pay the militant leaders because they will eat the money. But of course, the militant leaders said, we are the boss, They declared so many thousands of militants, which was, of course, inflated. And in the end, some of them got 25,000. Some few were flown abroad to be educated. But I think the government just made some billionaires out of militant leaders. And then, of course, a few years later, the young adventure came up and said, oh, now it's our time to chop some money. So it was not the success it could have been, but at least at the moment, there is most of the time peace in the Niger Delta. But again, there's another problem, which I disclosed to you. Now you give those militant leaders the job to secure the gas and the pipelines. What do? They get million naira contracts, and they eat that money. They don't give the villagers on the way money so they will protect it. At this moment, we have in Lagos, I think about 3 weeks, we have had hardly any electricity because a major gas pipeline was broken in or destroyed. Because those villagers around the pipelines, if they get little money, they will not destroy a pipeline. If they get nothing, they say, well, if we destroy it, we get some money. So we always have to plan so that the grassroots get what is due to them and not the handlers or the contractors in between, where some government officials in NNPC share with some militant leaders some big monies. But you know, that's a problem of Nigeria.
It's quite sad. All right, let's talk about copyright and piracy, which was one of the things that you advocated against during your time. Have we finally been able to eradicate this, or how far have we gone in stemming this ugly tide?
Well, thank you. That's a very important discussion. I'm a director in MCSN, the Musical Copyright Society of Nigeria, which is more than 20 years old. My cousin, Oris Wiliki, is the chairman. I'm a director and I'm the vice chairman of the finance committee. It took us 7 years to win a case against DSTV, and they settled us with a couple of billion naira just in December. So we were able to compensate all the members with between 500,000 naira to 5 million. Now suddenly other musicians come and say, where's my money? My advice to you, if you're a musician, go to the platform and register your songs and your bank address and your address with MCSN, and you get your money. But we cannot pay you when we don't know where you are. We don't have your bank account. MCSN pays out everything to the members. Only 18% is retained for legal maintenance and salaries. Only 18%, not like COSON, where one chairman was eating all the money. And by the way, I have to inform now the public that COSON has been proscribed. The name COSON was cancelled by the copyright, by CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission. The name was cancelled because it was fraudulently registered. The government has proscribed Muson. So anybody dealing with Muson deals with an illegal company which has no bank accounts. COSON, yes. I am not vindictive. Okoroji is my friend, but I must state, if you want to get your money as a musician, go to the legally registered company, which is MCSN. Now, let's go back to piracy. Piracy has gone down a lot because everything has moved to the internet. Hardly anybody buys CDs. There are no records to be bought. Record stores have all collapsed worldwide. But there's another problem now. There are a lot of pirates on the internet. As an example, my management company found out there were 38 companies and individuals illegally assigning my songs to themselves. It took us 6 months with affidavits on Apple Music, on Spotify, on YouTube to clear out those criminals. So what you have to do as a musician, check that your songs are protected. If not, somebody else benefits from it. So when you are protected, it becomes more difficult for anybody to download you illegally. You understand what I mean? So piracy in the old-fashioned way has nearly died off because the pirates cannot pirate your CDs anymore because the CDs are not in the market.
True.
So now you have to watch out about the stealing on the internet. Let me give you another example. I lectured a few months ago in a university, and I asked the 300 plus students, how many of you have a phone? 300 hands went up. I say, how many of you have music on your phones? 300 hands went up. I say, how many of you have paid for the music on your phone? 2 hands went up. They said, we are using our daddy's credit card. You have to pay. If you download, let's say, Davido's latest song and you Bluetooth it to all your friends, Davido will make no money. Do you understand what I mean? It's also a little bit the honesty of an individual who loves the music of an artist to realize I'm paying very little money for his music. If I download it and I have it forever, and I may be paying, I don't even know how much.
All right, great insight you just laid out there. So now,
Yes.
you as a musician and your genre of music was more famous abroad than in Nigeria. Was it because of your style of music?
Well, I have to go back to the 70s. I had a band called Tee Mac Omatshola Collection. We played Afro jazz, Afro pop, and we were doing very well. My bass player was Tunde Koboye, Lalo Akins was my drummer, Berkeley Jones, who died last year, was the guitarist. The Lichadu sisters were my backup girls. Steve Black sang with me. We had a very tight band, and one gentleman called Ginger Baker, he was the drummer of a band called Cream, came to Nigeria, sat into some session and signed the whole band on behind my back. So that was the end of Tee Mac Omatshola Collection.
Oh, wow.
So I went back to Europe. It was a blessing. It made me to leave Nigeria. There's no money here. We just survived. And there I formed Tee Mac United. We had a contract with Polydor, and I had 10 days studio time left. So my producer, Kunze, said, let's do something KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay.
So we wrote elevator music, we called it. That means sing-alongs like Get Up and Boogie, Boogie, Boogie. But I wrote very nice string arrangement. It was quite catchy. And one song out of that album was called Fly, Robin Fly, Up to the Sky. It was a world hit. It sold over 12 million copies, was #1 around the world. It was about 8 weeks #1 in America. We got the Grammy for it. The production got the Grammy for it. And that set me up financially for my whole life.
Oh, okay.
I came back for Festac 77 because I was a little bit tired traveling around the world. We changed the name from Tee Mac United to Silver Convention because of my silver flute. I made a ton of money, but it was kind of disco music. We were maybe the most successful disco band at that time till Dana Summer came and took over. It was catchy, danceable, and my music was danced in Nigeria, so you cannot say I wasn't selling in Nigeria. Everybody danced to Fly, Robin, Fly. But very few people knew it was Tee Mac behind it. So when I came back in 1977, I said to myself, I have studied music. Let me do more sophisticated music. If they like it or don't like it, I don't actually need to make money. So I had a big nightclub. I had very kind of sophisticated Afro music. I did another album called Night Illusion, which did very well, was #2 in the British charts. And I had a fabulous band. I love perfection. 90% of Nigerian audience, they don't even know what perfection is. So there, as long as gudu, 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 they're happy. We have a problem that we have a 99% of music illiteracy in Nigeria. So anything goes. So if you say I'm not popular here, it's because maybe I'm playing above the level of most people. But it doesn't bother me. My music is appreciated and bought worldwide. You know what I mean?
So you were somewhere quoted as saying that you can lose everything you have, but you cannot lose your education. As you also ended up acquiring different degrees from the university. So if truly education is the best legacy, How much has education impacted on the average Nigerian, judging from the increasing numbers of out-of-school children that we have, even the adults? Because most Nigerian entertainers these days are school dropouts, and then they tell you that they've made more monies than your so-called lecturers.
That's a good one. It is very unfortunate that Nigeria used to be a fantastic place to study. In the 70s, foreigners would come to University of Nuzuka, Ibadan, Lagos, Benin. I performed in every university during those times. I was proud of our universities. And then came a bunch of presidents and people who didn't care about education, and it collapsed. I was so sad to see the Minister of Education celebrating his son's certificate abroad. I thought it was shameful. My 3 sons were educated in Nigeria because I was educated in Switzerland because I'm half Swiss, half Nigerian. And after my father was assassinated in Lagos, my mother, who's a Shakiri princess, said, go to your Swiss family. So I had the opportunity to go to university, study economics, study music, and to learn 6 languages. That's why you hear my accent. I speak fluent German, Swiss, French, Italian, a little bit Dutch. But education is the key, because when my money came in, I had the education to invest into gas and oil, mining, because every musician should have a backup situation. I call it the bread and butter job. So if you make little money, let your wife have a hairdresser salon or a little supermarket, or invest into a little school. So if you don't make everyday money like during the pandemic, you don't become a beggar. So you have daily something coming in, and you also concentrate on your music better when you don't need to run around to make quick money.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? Most musicians live from day to day, and that gives a bad impression to the public. Most of them are hustlers. Let's be honest. Most of them lie to the newspapers. There's one guy who had one day hit a few years ago. He came to my P-Man office, showed me his Range Rover. I should bless it. I said, yeah, but have you built your house? He said, no, I'm renting. I said, you're very stupid. That Range Rover could have built your house. 6 months later, he had to sell the Range Rover off because he had no money to even fuel it.
Oh, wow.
Musicians should realize if you have a hit, that's a blessing. Don't expect every day a hit to come. There are 10,000 people producing useless songs every day. And by luck, one song has a hook line like Skelevu, or something which people dance, and suddenly that is the in thing. And then somebody copies that music, and that is the in thing. Music is only stable when you have an education. Every Muson educated musician can either find a job as a teacher of music in an academy or in a private school, or he has a good paying job in a church to pay for his daily income. And then you wait for the next hit to come. But if you're not educated, you have to hustle.
Okay.
You're a hustler. You're not a musician. Education is the key in every field. You will not go to a quack and tell him, please heal me. You will not go to a quack and say, please build my house. You go to somebody who is qualified. So why are we listening to musicians who don't even know in what key they are singing? Musicians who don't know the basic of writing a song. It's just there. By chance, the beat was smooth and some people buy it. And it's mostly the 12, 13, 14-year-old girls who like all that trash. Let me give you a true story. I have asked many teenagers, do you actually like the trash you're listening to? They'll say, you know, when I'm high, it moves me, I dance. So you're even furthering that teenagers going to tramadol, into alcohol, into Indian hemp, because they will only enjoy you when they're high. And that's the fact. If you don't have music where you can sit down and enjoy because it's beautiful, you just have kudu, 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 and you dance that useless dance to it, you must be high to enjoy it. And that's the danger of drugs. A musician should fight against the youth taking drugs. So give them good music.
Okay. All right. So
Thank
now
you.
a lot of people say that Nigeria has the biggest music industry in Africa. They believe that if you blow in Nigeria, then you can blow anywhere in the world, regardless of our currency defaults. Do you agree?
Well, Nigeria is the biggest market in Africa. It's the biggest market for Omo, for pig milk, for beer. So it's easy to say it's the biggest market for music. But go to South Africa, where the music industry is more profitable. The studios are better. The Eddie nightclub has a list of the songs performed, and they are paying the royalty to the song owners. Every disc jockey fills a list of the songs he plays. Any performance, you fill in a form, and then the promoter pays some rights. This doesn't exist in Nigeria. I've been fighting it for 30 years. Nobody listens. They all think I am stupid. Oh, it's music. It's free. No, Nigeria has a big market, but a totally disorganized market. I tell you, President Goodluck Jonathan was a great man. He said to me, a year before the election, he unfortunately lost. He said, Tee Mac, help me to put a structure in place so the government can help, can fund it, so it's not being misappropriated. So I sat with all the heads of associations together, and we formed the Entertainment Foundation of Nigeria. We formed the Entertainment Database of Nigeria. We formed the Entertainment Distribution Network. We formed the Entertainment Cooperative Society of Nigeria. And then our dear president lost, and everything went to sleep. You must have a government who understands that music and art will whitewash all our negative publicity. If you have a good movie out from Nigeria, people say, Nigeria. If you have a successful tour of a good musician abroad, people say, wow, this is a Nigerian. You know Shirley, do you know Shirley Bassey?
Yes, I do.
Look, Diamonds Are Forever or Goldfinger. Shirley Bassey is from Calabar.
And I knew you were one of her promoters at the time.
Well, I'm not a promoter. No, I was writing arrangements for her, and I was conducting her for some short while. They are Shadiaudu. They did a lot. They did a lot to uplift the image of Nigeria. So now tourism needs good music everywhere. Nightclubs should be supported. Anybody who comes to Nigeria, like Marlon Jackson, my great friend since the 70s, Tito Jackson, Peter Touch, spent every year in my nightclub for 10 years his holiday. They all loved Nigeria because they said, this is the most exciting country when it gets to music. But we have to further it, support it. If we have a minister of culture who is not even there, doesn't care, it will not help the cultural aspect of Nigeria. Culture, we have the most diversified culture in the world. We have, I think, 360 tribes and cultures and dresses and food. Let the world learn about it. I mean, there are many Yoruba or Igbo restaurants in New York, in London, everywhere, even in Sweden, and they all say Nigerian food is delicious.
Like
but you must further it. Yes, you must have a budget to support the arts. Now we formed something called the Creative Industry Group, which encompasses even dressmakers, designers, hairdressers, musicians, comedians. We are trying now on our own to do what the government should actually help us.
Okay.
All on our own, because we have no help from any government.
All right then. So is there anything as instant fame in music industry like we see these days? Because you have young artists who are seeking wealth and fame in the music industry. Just one song becomes a hit and the artist is declared billionaire overnight. And then when you watch their movie or you listen to their song, you be like, how?
Okay, that's a very good question. We call them one-day flies. If you have 10,000 songs being produced in little studios or bedroom with Fruity Loops, bad quality, nonentities, Of course, out of 10,000, one or two may have by chance that catchy. As I had in the 70s, I never believed that something like Get Up and Boogie, Boogie, Boogie would sell millions, or Fly, Robin, Fly, because it was catchy. But in those days, we were producing it to an international level. Most of the stuff being produced here is just for local level, badly mixed. They go in the studio, they spend just 50,000 naira, and then they go and do a video for 10 million naira. Can you imagine? They will show some expensive cars, some big backside ladies dancing, and they think they have made it. Yes, that song may be reigning for 1 or 2 weeks. They may get some monies from ringtone, some internet downloads. But what is going to happen in 6 months' time? If you cannot follow up with a good album, you are dead, you are out. But also remember that, unfortunately, the print media has some very uneducated journalists who don't know anything about music. And you give them a brown envelope. They will say you are the greatest, you are like sliced bread, you are the gift to mankind. Some journalists are very, very unfair to the rest. You give them money, they praise you. And some people will think, oh, well, you know, some people believe what's written in the newspapers. But you, as an individual, listen to the song. Are the lyrics meaningful? Is there a melody in it? Is there a good voice? Because most of these young guys use auto-tune, which is a guitar effect. It's an electronic effect. They will cover up their voice because they have no tone. They don't know that you have to go through training of A, E, I, O, U. You have to train your voice. So when you're in the studio, it comes out. You don't just going to...
All right.
I can hardly understand the lyrics of most of those songs. But again,
we're definitely going to come back to that. We're definitely going to come back to that, Dr. Tee Mac. We're due for a break. Let's go on this quick break, and when we return, we'll continue with this conversation. I will see you shortly.
All right.
You have the street vibes, like the Zinoleski and the Portable, which almost everybody is vibing to. In fact, they seem to be like the new kid on the block. And then these songs or vibes was not anywhere close to existence in your time. So do you think that this phase or culture will go and another kind of culture will emanate with their own kind of audience in the coming future, like just like you have jazz, high life, juju, afrobeat, reggae, and they all left?
Somehow I agree and somehow I disagree. Every time has a certain kind of music. In the 2030s, when Dixieland and jazz came up, bebop, modern jazz, jazz was the in thing.
If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We are reaching you from Captain's Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've missed quite a lot because we have Dr. Tee Mac Omatshola Iseli, MFR. He is the former president of PMAN, and we've been talking about a lot of things, but then you can still join in the conversation. Now, Dr. Tee Mac, let's talk about consistency. The music industry needs consistency. There's the need to build content, because right now the audience are insatiable. They want more. They are sophisticated. They listen to a lot of things, like you said. So if an average artist go up without growing up, he or she won't be able to stay up there. That's why you see most of the already established ones, they just go moribund. So how can an artist reinvent him or herself, revolve their sound so as to be able to grow and also carry their audience along?
There is only one thing he has to do. He has to improve himself constantly. A professional musician rehearses his instrument or his voice between 4 to 6 hours a day. Abroad, a singer has a voice coach. If you cannot afford a voice coach, Google voice training and follow up what they tell you. The voice exercises to build volume, and after weeks and weeks, you start to hear the improvement. Even if you started by chance because you like music and you don't have a voice, or you sing flat or sharp, if you do the right exercises, closed mouth exercising, technical exercises, you will improve.
Okay.
Then you have to start looking for somebody to help you to write your songs, because very few of the performers are songwriters, because most of the musicians don't read and write music. It will be limited to this 2-chord, monotonous, repetitious recycling of one lick. So that cannot improve you, because if you are lucky that you had a little hit, make sure your next song is better than the one which was your hit.
Okay.
And don't do the same thing again. People not go for the same thing again. Because remember, when I was in Nigeria in the 70s, we had NTA, Channel 5, Channel 10, and Network. So everybody had to watch me on the Tee Mac show because there was no alternative. Now you have on the internet 10,000s of internet stations. You have Netflix. You have DSTV. So for you to be seen on TV is much more difficult than in the 70s. The competition is tremendously, because everybody, most youth who are out of school, they have no job. So they think, oh, we can be like the A-lister, we can have a big car, we can be seen on TV, we can see in the big nightclubs, just sing a little song. So they rush to those studios. But let me tell you the secret. Most of the songs you hear are not even created in studios. They are created in bedrooms on a laptop with a cheap software called Fruity Loops. And we professionals, we hear that those songs are not properly recorded. What I'm saying is that most songs are produced under circumstances no record label or company would ever release it.
Okay.
Because there's no song. So they go on Instagram, on YouTube, and somehow out of 10,000 songs, 2 or 3 will make it. That is the chance of making it. But it's a time waste for those, yeah?
Okay, then, so has the ability to be creative artists in Nigeria dwindled? Have we lost the art of making good music and enjoying the process, or is it a problem of the industry and the system? Because a lot of people complain that their hard work is not even appreciated. You spend a lot of time creating a song only for people to be conversing or chatting or playing with their phones when it's being jammed in the clubs and parties. So to them, they feel that's the reason why some artists, or let me throw the question to you. Could this be the reason why some artists just throw in the hogwash and rubbish because people don't even care?
No, that is not the reason. I have never met a musician who is good, who doesn't make money. But if you're just one of those who want to be somebody who thinks he's a superstar and is nothing, then you have a problem. Because there are 10,000s like you. If you say, oh, I've spent so much time and to do a song, ask yourself, is your song good? Let me give you a quick example. When I was PMAN president, I got a phone call by somebody called Boogaloo T. He said, Tee Mac, I want to see you. And he hung up. I called him back. Are you so rude? I ran out of credit. He said, I'm a superstar. I said, if you're a superstar and you don't even have data, okay, come to my office. I was interested to see who is showing up. So I came to my office, one young guy from Achegunle, quite cute, nice looking face, rasta hair, his pants hanging down, and introduced himself like he is the gift to all the girls in Achegunle. A little bit arrogant. I played this CD, which was rubbish, the usual badly rapped, you couldn't understand what he was saying. I just said to him, please go work on your voice for 10 years and maybe then you come back. I threw him out because there are too many of those, because some little girls love them and think they are superstars. You see, the ego of a musician does not understand that he's not good. Everybody thinks, oh, the song I've done is the greatest song. I get 100 songs onto my WhatsApp every week to listen to, and 99 of them are trash, and I tell them. But everybody believes that his song is the greatest song, should be number one. There's one guy called Too Much Money. He sends me every month a new song, and he believes he's the king of mankind with his rubbish songs he does. He has no voice, he can't pronounce, and every month I have to tell him, please, it's rubbish. But he still continues because he believes that he is the greatest. And I have to tell him, be humble. You're not the greatest until you have sold 10 million copies. Then you can say, I am okay. You're still not the greatest, you know?
All right. So now you have been in the music industry for quite a while and you've made impact.
Yes.
So you definitely understand how things work. So many eras, a wave of musicians and artists have come and gone, even those that you expect to last a little longer. So looking at the industry then and now, how much would you say that the industry has evolved?
I would say in the 60s, internationally, that was a real upheave. There were the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Blood, Sweat and Tears. Then came the OJ's Temptations. Then came the Americans with their music, James Brown. And everybody was a professional. They were rehearsing. They were having tight producers. There were so many fighting for the little slots available in record companies. So only the best would be released. And then came now the 2010, where the internet somehow ruined the entertainment industry and then rebuild it in saying, okay, you can download and make your money on the internet. But I believe the internet, as positive as many people think, to me, it was not positive for the entertainment industry because it's difficult to control who is listening to you.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? It's difficult to control your income. I believe musicians make less money now than in the 80s, 90s. I'm telling you that out of experience. It is less. Now touring is mostly promotional to promote your album or your CD. In the days of Silver Convention, we were paid $150,000 to $200,000 a gig. That was big money in the 70s. Now I know my dear friend Marlon Jackson, the Jacksons, they still make 150,000. The top acts who are in the top 5 on Billboard, they can charge quite a lot because people go and watch what is actually in the top internationally. Now, my advice to Nigerian musicians is improve your skill, work on your voice, because even Davido, Wizkid, I have to advise you, work on your voice.
Okay.
I hope you understand what I mean. I'm a professional. Nobody has to tell me if there is the tone. When there's the tone, you're convincingly good for everybody. You're not just good for the Yoruba people or for the Igbo people because you sing in Igbo or you sing in Yoruba or you sing in Pidgin English. You are a world citizen. Of course, it's good to sing for your tribe and for your people, but make sure that your music is understood and listened by everybody. That's the secret.
Okay, so now the present day industry has different kind of artists bringing in different kind of sounds and songs. You have the mainstream music artist, which has the Burna Boy, the Davido, the Wizkids, and the like that you already mentioned. And then you have the new sounds like the Oxlade, the Rema, the Ruga, and then you have the street vibes like the Zinoleski and the Portable, which almost everybody is vibing to. In fact, they seem to be like the new kid on the block. And then these songs or vibes was not anywhere close to existence in your time. So do you think that this phase or culture will go and another kind of culture will emanate with their own kind of audience in the coming future, like just like you have jazz, high life, juju, Afrobeat, reggae, and they're all left?
Somehow I agree and somehow I disagree. Every time has a certain kind of music.
Okay.
In the 2030s, when Dixieland and jazz came up, bebop, modern jazz was the in thing. In Europe, that was the in thing. And then came pop music, then came the Beatles, etc., etc. So I am aware that music changes. But again, what survives survives is the quality music. You can still listen to Billie Holiday. You can still listen to a Coltrane on the sax, and you can appreciate it because it's good. You understand what I mean? But you cannot appreciate trash. The trash passes out. So to survive the tide of time, you must make sure what you put out is good. Okay. And that is my criticism to a lot of music being produced nowadays. 90% is just not good enough. I'm not criticizing the young people wanting to make it. I mean, I listen to Rema occasionally. Burna Boy, I like some of his music because he's a professional. He's got producers. Now he has money for good studio, so the quality increases. You have to invest money into studio time to get quality. Okay. You understand what I mean? And that's why they appreciate him abroad, because now he is reaching the level they appreciate. But you cannot sell every trash abroad. There's so much trash even produced in America. There's trash in France. There's trash in Germany. Because trash people need trash music, and there are trash people everywhere in the world. So if you want to discuss about time periods of music, they come and they go. But it's like a circle. Okay. There comes a period of highly sophisticated music, and then the youth go into the trash music. Oh, it is more lively, and then they get fed of it, they get educated more, they go into sophisticated music, so it's a circle.
Okay.
It's a circle. Now, have you ever spoken, you haven't asked me about classical music. Classical music is here for hundreds of years, and it's there because it's quality. The musicians in a philharmonic orchestra are superstars. You can sit there and listen to them. In 200 years, it will still be appreciated as it was performed 200 years ago, because it's quality. The composers had brains. They composed. They put down unbelievable. Maybe you don't like classical music as I do. You know, my PhD is in philharmonic composition. Music. Look, my PhD is in philharmonic music. I sit down, I work on film tracks. I worked 4 years for Universal. That's where the quality of music goes into, quality music. But you cannot expect a little girl in a secondary school to understand Mozart, because in her family, they don't play Mozart in the house. I grew up in Switzerland where there was classical music being played. So I appreciate it. I grew up with it. But if you grew up with Fuji Juju, then that's what you are used to. So when now a hip-hop artist comes and does a little bit Fuji Juju rap, they will like it. You can't tell them it is rubbish because that's what they understand.
All right, then, even as we begin to round up, now you know that gone are the days of cassettes, CDs, VHS, DVDs, just like you talked about, because of the way that we consume things now. Everyone is streaming. So definitely there will be the generation that does not know anything about CDs, cassettes, MP3s, Walkman, maybe even flutes. So it was like a ritual at the time.
Sorry. You say flutes? Flutes?
I said maybe flutes? Even flutes.
No, a philharmonic orchestra will be needed in 500 years' time to recreate the music which was written. You cannot eliminate an instrument from your equation, because without the instrument, you can have electronic music, but it's not the same. And let me give you another example. A musical brain is trained by training a kid playing an instrument. Violin, piano, guitar, flute. Even if you become a pop singer and you have studied violin, or like we studied flute, we understand music because we have mastered an instrument. So without instrument, there'll be no music existing.
Okay, so do you remember that at the time, it was like a ritual where every musician had to put their collections together in CDs or cassettes and just play them in a friend's party, at weddings, Thanksgiving. But now music is just on your phone. It's just one phone away. So do you see that generation springing forth anytime soon where no one is interested in all of these things, even radio and TV? Well,
I see benefits of the development. I have my iPhone 13 Max Pro, and I appreciate how fast it is, how I can do everything. But I must tell you, I spend a little more time than I want, always answering and doing things. Before, a phone to me was to make a phone call. Now, all this, while I was having the interview with you, about 100 messages have come through. So there's also a negative aspect that this technology can make you addictive to something which takes you away from reading books, from rehearsing your instrument, from chatting with your family. I've gone to dinners where everybody was chatting their phones while eating. Or I went to one seminar where Pato Tommy was speaking so intelligently to Nollywood stars, and all those Nollywood stars were pressing the phone. So when it was my turn to speak, I said, hello, hello. They looked up. I said, please, put your phone off. And those who have China phone, please take the battery out. I made a joke because I found it irritating that I am there speaking and you press your phone. When I saw the last phone going on the desk, I said, thank you. And then I spoke. When I lecture in any of the universities, I do the master class in universities, 2 or 3 days talking about philharmonic arrangement, professional behavior, etc. I don't charge, I just give them my experience. I make sure that nobody brings a phone into the lecture room. I say, I don't want it. You want to listen to me, so listen to me and pick up your phone when I finish, because it can be irritative. Let that phone not be your addiction. I look after 3 kids. When they go to school, they leave the phone locked up in my house. Don't take your phone with you because you're going to study. And a lot of musicians doing rehearsals with my band, your phone has to be off because it's an irritation. So I would say technology can be positive and it can be negative. I still prefer the time when we have no GSM. We have more time for each other.
Okay. All right. So even as we begin to round off, like I said, so you are a very popular person, both in Nigeria and in the rest of the world. Are you looking towards politics anytime soon or maybe in the future?
You know, I have been asked that question many times. I am half Shakiri. I'm a Shakiri nation. I am a popular person there. But I said to myself, I don't think I can do politics in Nigeria. And I don't want to go further than that. Because I like to live my life clean and honest. No cheating, no stealing, no lying. And unfortunately, most politicians are criminals and liars. I don't want to join them.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time with us, Dr. Tee Mac Omatshola Iseli, MFR. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
So you don't want me to play anything, even 2 minutes or 1 minute?
Before I forget. No, yes. I almost passed that part. Okay, please, I would like you to play us one of your popular songs.
Just something. No, I can't play them because the whole band. I'll play you a little classical, me improvising on a classical melody. Yes.
Oh, please. Give us some sound.
My flute is cold. Now some jazz.
Oh, everybody remembers that song. I'm sure a lot of people remember that sound. I recognize that sound when I hear it. Thank you so much for your time with us, Dr. Tee Mac Omatshola Iseli, MFR. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time. I hope I was not too critical, but you know, sometimes the truth is bitter. I hope you understand what I mean.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. All right, we have been chatting with Dr. Tee Mac Omatshola Iseli, MFR. He is the former P-Man president. I'm sure that you must have been entertained. Yes, you must have been informed and rightly educated. I'll see you again next time. From the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Annabelle Oji. God bless Nigeria.